Unlock your full potential with Brain and Focus, a powerful supplement designed to boost mental clarity, enhance memory, and sharpen concentration. Made from a blend of scientifically proven ingredients like ginkgo biloba, omega-3, and essential vitamins, Brain and Focus is crafted to fuel your mind. Our process ensures maximum potency and effectiveness, delivering the perfect balance of brain-boosting nutrients. Take just one capsule daily, as prescribed by your healthcare provider, and feel the difference. Whether it's powering through your workday or staying sharp in life's challenges, Brain and Focus keeps you at the top of your game. Stay sharp, stay focused, and stay ahead with Brain and Focus. Brain and Focus, fuel your mind, achieve more. Go get this product at blackhotfirenetwork.com at the Sports and Nutrition Store.
What's going on, Emil? Emil, I put the WhatsApp link inside the chat room on the network. So if you want to join the group, I put it in there. You just click on it. If it's still there, I gotta see if it's still there. It should still be there. I put the link in there for I put the link in there for you, Emil. So you just go to the show page and click on the link. That'll have you join the WhatsApp group.
But otherwise, karibuni sana family. Good evening, good afternoon from my end. Good evening from my end. Good afternoon from you guys, and God damn it. But it is exactly 18 minutes past 8 p.m. Hope you guys are doing amazing. Hope you're having a wonderful, easy Wednesday. Ours has been amazing. Can't complain. Very wonderful day. It's been sunny. I don't know about you, but karibuni sana to another episode of the Africa Today show. We get to discuss different matters as we find and bring a conclusion towards every conversation. Today shall be focusing on the something that we touched on Friday regarding the Great Pyramids. I discovered it's called the Great Pyramids of Khafre. I don't know, it's Khafre.
The second was Khafre. You got Khafre, you got Khufu, and what was the other one? Sneffer. Three of them. Sneffer, Khafre, and when you said so, yeah. But those, like they said, erroneously, we believe the Emerald Tablet saying those made them, not Khafre and then these other African pyramid. I want to call them pharaohs because they were not called pharaoh. That's some white man. White people got the name. They were not called pharaoh. Meant the woman's house because you couldn't be the head of a country without the woman's blessing. So they were called the Sultan. The king was known as the Sultan in Kemet, not Pharaoh. That's why your Bible's fake. The Pharaoh Ramsey said they weren't called pharaohs. Pharaoh meant house, woman's house. That's what Pharaoh meant. Pharaoh meant the house. That was the king's house, but it was the woman's house. And the king was known as the Sultan. That's why you get the Arabs change the name to Sultan. They take our shit and they rename it because they didn't have any culture when these people just showed up 2 days ago. So the name of the king was always the Sultan. He wasn't a pharaoh. The pharaoh meant house. You probably can look that up. Say what is the linguistic meaning of pharaoh? It meant house, not it meant king.
Yeah, so we'll be getting into that just in a few. But before we get started, once again, Trevor who's here with us for the first time, kindly do subscribe. Those who are with us live on YouTube, Rumble, BitChute, karibuni sana to the Africa Today show. And as we get to continue, I want to start with some very sad news right here. Remember 2 months ago, we were reporting about a nurse who was accused of breaking the backbones of newborn babies.
Oh, okay. What about it?
Babies. Yeah, so apparently just doing my research, I'm saying this is a norm of these people. The hatred again is crazy and just unexplainable. The same situation has happened to another woman, where after she gave birth, her baby actually was injected different injections without her consent. She was burnt. Like, let me just share the video, and then after that, I'm gonna share another one where it's a year ago. The same situation happened, but where the infant's head was decapitated. It's just super crazy.
What?
Yeah. So this is it's crazy. It's so crazy. But as we get started, karibuni sana to everyone who's just tuning in. Let me share this as we get to continue. Just a minute. This is sad.
If you gave birth to a healthy baby girl,
And I'm like, why is her face burnt?
and they burned her face at the hospital.
It was like a scary movie, literally, like a live scary movie.
Doctors first insisted something was wrong with the baby. She was passed around at 2 different Philadelphia hospitals until mom started noticing a pattern. Start getting burns and rashes. She says the hospital went behind her back and gave the newborn dose after dose of narcotics and other drugs. Drugs, she says, killed her baby.
They failed me, but in all reality, they failed her.
I'm Justin Carter. This is TSR Investigates.
It's crazy. Their hatred is
19-year-old
psychopathic.
Jayana Henderson had tens of thousands of people talking over the weekend when she posted these pictures of her daughter, Jaylani Akbar Abdullah, on social media. A huge red mark on her face, parallel to what a burn would look like.
Yeah, so this is just 2 months after 2 months ago where we saw this incident, same incident of a nurse in Virginia who was not accused, but literally, broke the backbones of newborn babies.
Somebody's got to be held accountable.
This NICU nurse and
her and a white nurse. It wasn't just her. Remember, it was her and another white man up in Michigan, I believe.
Mm-hmm. And I think she was actually bailed out or something. Let me see if I can get the article very quickly.
the unthinkable, going on a spree, breaking babies' bones on purpose.
I got to do something.
Hospital staff told his dad that one of his twins had a broken leg.
It was pain.
Crazy.
That was their first emotion.
And it allegedly happened to over a half dozen babies at the same hospital, all of them with one similar trait.
I'm Justin Carter. This is TSR Investigates. It may be easy to justify
The hatred is psychopathic. You never see black people breaking the bones of their babies. You just don't see this. Their hatred is always psychopathic. It's unfathomable. It just doesn't make any sense. It's evil, wicked.
Mm-hmm.
The breaking a bone in a neonatal intensive care unit, also known as a NICU in a hospital, but 7 babies over the course of a year or so. It's why the NICU at the Henrico Doctors Hospital in Richmond, Virginia, is shut down right now. In 2023, the hospital started noticing, quote, unexplainable fractures amongst their newborn babies. Dominique Hackey was one of the first parents to come forward after one of his twin boys suffered an unexplainable tibia fracture. It would take a year for him and his family to realize that they wouldn't be the only family going through the same thing.
It's the ultimate level of betrayal.
Because on August 25th, 2023, Dominique Hackey and his wife, they were already going through it. Their twins were 2.5 months premature. One twin, baby Micah, was having breathing issues. However, his brother, baby Noah, thankfully was born completely healthy. But about a week into their NICU stay, his wife got a heads up.
The nurse told her she wasn't allowed to hold Noah.
Why is that? Did they notice something was wrong?
So at that point, we didn't know. They just said, it's up to the nurse's discretion whether, you can hold the baby because he was so small. He was 3 pounds.
The very next day, another red flag.
So September 3rd, we both go into the hospital, nurses swaddling Noah and just kind of like looks back over her shoulder, just kind of like that, and was like, hey, just wanted to let you know, I noticed his foot was discolored. He's not moving it like the right foot. So we went and got some x-rays, determined that he had a fracture. Do you want to hold him? And I said, no.
By that point, he still hadn't held Noah at all and knew that something was going on. So he told his own mother, who's a director of nursing herself in Washington, D.C.
And she was the first person to say that that's not right. We sit with the doctor.
Exactly. Lucky you had a director of nursing and up the road in D.C. said, nah, something's going on, son. Some shady shit is going on in this hospital.
Through, well, hey, you know, we're thinking it could have been an injection that was given too rough. And that's what fractured his tibia.
Which is basically your shin. It's the biggest bone in your lower leg.
They said they were opening an internal investigation at the hospital, and, you know, they'll just update us along the way. A couple weeks fast forward, they tell us, you know, hey, we were unable to find the person responsible, but we're going to put some cameras in. We're going to implement new trainings on the proper way to give injections.
Henrico police told them that they too were opening up an investigation, but as time passed,
hear from Henrico Police Department.
They knew it was the white lady that did it, and just like white supremacy, here goes the cover up. They knew a white woman was involved, or a white man was going to be involved, and so here comes the cover up to protect the whiteness, right? To protect their filthy behavior. So, you know, this has been going on. So they weren't the first. This has been a pattern. If there's a pattern, that means there's something happening. It's not normal for everybody to have broken bones in a certain paternity section of any hospital. So you would immediately, as the director of that paternity ward, conduct an investigation. And so I'm sure they already knew that this white woman was responsible for it. But that's how white supremacy works. It's the protection of whiteness. It's the complexion for the protection. The complexion for the protection. Exactly. So first thing you're going to do, because my wife was a nurse. My ex-wife was a nurse. So any kind of funny business going on, an investigation, the director of that unit is going to say, hey, something is out of line here. So we got to call an investigation to find out what is the problem. They already knew that lady was doing it. I'm sure just from the second broken bone for the second child. Like, oh, no, this is unusual. We got to conduct an investigation. Go ahead, Joby.
It's crazy and sad, but this is even worse, man. So this has been a norm, and they, like you say, the protection for the complexion. They know there's nothing that's gonna happen to them. You know, complexion for the protection. Yeah.
Something heartbreaking, but it is graphic and could be inappropriate for children.
A young Clayton County mother and father
They
have
got the
sued their
complexion for the protection.
OBGYN and Southern Regional Hospital after they claim the doctor's negligence led to their baby being decapitated during childbirth.
In the wrongful death lawsuit filed in Clayton County this morning, the couple claims the hospital
Clayton
covered
County,
up
this
their
must be
baby's
Georgia.
death. Fox 5's Angelique Proctor joins us from Southern Regional Hospital in Riverdale, where that death happened.
Good evening. What a sad and horrendous story. I have learned today that the Clayton County Police Department is investigating this baby death. And as for the parents, well, they're just too distraught to talk about it.
This is one of the most sad, egregious, and horrific situations that I've ever seen.
20-year-old Jessica Ross and her boyfriend, Travion Taylor Sr., have an unimaginable story. Their attorney says the young couple was full of joy and anticipation for their first child. They came here to Southern Regional Medical Center for the delivery July 9th. According to the complaint, doctors had diagnosed Ms. Ross with diabetes a year earlier, making her a high-risk pregnancy. But she consistently went to appointments while she was expecting. The couple's attorney says after about 10 hours of labor, Jessica was fully dilated and ready for delivery of Travion Jr. But according to the complaint, they say his shoulders got stuck in the vaginal canal.
What wound up happening after that is just brutal. Dr. St. Julian came in and she, in the process of trying to deliver this baby,
Pause this. Pause this. Because if that was the case, they would have decided to do a C-section. and cut the stomach so they get the baby out. It wouldn't be this intensive pulling. Common sense would say, okay, um, we're having a problem getting the baby out, so we're going to have to cut you. We're going to do a C-section. Um, that's the normal cause. So yeah, this is absolutely crazy. This is absolutely absurd. Everybody knows the next procedure will be to do a C-section. This is absolutely crazy. Go ahead, Joe.
And manipulated them so hard that the bones in the baby's skull, face, and neck were broken.
According to the complaint, that's when Dr. St. Julian called for an emergency C-section.
When the
Exactly. See, pause that. See, exactly. You would have been asked for the, like I just said, a C-section. You would have been asked for the C-section before that. This doesn't make any sense. This is the hate these people have for us. This doesn't make any sense. Because you would have been called, like I said, the next procedure is a C-section before you go start breaking bones and cutting off heads and all this craziness. The normal procedure is, okay, we're having problems in giving a natural birth. We're going to have to abort this and go to a C-section. That's the next order of business. You're not going to kill the baby and try to snatch the baby head out of the wound and breaking bones and all this craziness. Is this person, what? This is like it's like a bad horror movie. What are you talking? Who's doing? This is absolutely insane.
Very.
Go ahead, Joe. This is crazy.
The feet came out, the body came out, and there was no head. The head was stuck in the vagina.
The couple's attorneys allege nurses and medical staff at the hospital lied to the couple about what happened, discouraged them from getting an autopsy, tried to encourage them to cremate the child, and failed to report the death to the medical examiner.
They also did not report the death to the authorities of Clayton County or the Clayton County medical examiner. This report was made by a funeral home. And after their funeral home waved the flag and alerted the authorities regarding this, it wasn't until then when Dr. St. Julian told the family what actually happened.
Now, we reached out to Dr. St. Julian, but she declined to comment. We did hear from the hospital, however. Their statement reads, while our heartfelt sympathies go out to the family, Southern Regional Medical Center denies the allegations in the complaint referencing the hospital. Since this matter is in litigation, we are refrained from providing any additional information.
Here to get talk litigation.
Not an employee of the hospital. The hospital has taken the appropriate steps.
I think this is outside of Atlanta. I think this is Clayton County outside of Atlanta. This is crazy.
Yeah, it's crazy. But look at the incident that just happened 2 months ago. For the nurse, she's already been, she was released on bond. Yeah, she was released on bond. That is
of course.
last
She has a
month.
complexion for the protection.
So literally them using that for their own protection.
It's called white privilege. They pretend like they don't know what it is. We don't know white privilege. We don't got any kind of privilege. What kind of privilege do we got? What kind of privilege? You get to break babies' bones and don't go to prison. That privilege. You get to chop off babies' heads and don't nothing happen to you. That privilege. You get to do all kind of heinous crimes and never get locked up. That white privilege. Always claim you don't know. We don't know what my privilege. I ain't got no privilege. I want privilege. I want privilege. Go ahead, Joe.
It's crazy. But shout out to everyone with us in the building. Shout out to Jason, Emil. Shout out to Jiba Jabba, Big Cheese. Thank you for the donation over there. I appreciate you. I see Emil earlier saying, we start with Jason. He says, then structures under pyramids. We're getting into that conversation about the pyramids. I also see Emil says,
damn, Jibba Jabba. Go ahead.
There's something I have to tell you, just being honest. I ain't black. I've just listening to y'all for years because I like y'all's content, and the truth doesn't bother me at all. Okay.
All right.
All right. And I also see Jiba says it's best to out It's best to out in the woods and give birth. Like, you mean giving birth in the woods? That's what you mean? Jibba jabba.
Yeah, it's about the old way. Yeah, before hospital. Yeah, go out to the
Uh,
woods. I don't know what I'm doing out in the woods, jibber jabber. That's I don't know.
easy. It's actually easy. I think I did the whole show showcasing how women back then used to give birth. There was no hospitals, and especially how women are always told to lie down on their back. It's wrong. You're supposed to squat your,
Yeah,
like, yeah, you're supposed to either
yeah,
on your
yeah. But
back.
I don't know. I don't know how to give birth. I don't want to go out in the woods with nobody do that. I don't know what the hell I'm doing.
You will. If you are alone and maybe you're in a critical condition, trust me, you'll survive. You will. Like,
I'm sure
African
you
women,
will.
African women are very strong, and I believe you'll figure that. You'll just figure it out. The universe will download information to you out. You know, like,
That's true. It
yeah,
happens.
you'll figure it out. I also see Jiba says, "Ain't nobody gonna tell me I can't hold my baby." Uh, he also says, "Where are the nurses' logs?" And Yusuf says this was a black obstetrician, if I'm pronouncing it correctly. Obstetrician. Big Jesus says Keith and Joby noticed this baby broken bone story was not any local or mainstream TV, but Pookie said
Never.
stealing is on the new daily. It's crazy. And also see Jabajaba says in the maternity ward, they propped the baby's head up and wrapped the body in a blanket so the baby looked intact.
That'd be crazy.
hmm And yeah, those are the comments. So as we get into the pyramid story, I have a few videos to share literally regarding all that. But let me start with this one when the discovery was made. This one which explains a little bit of it.
Oh, not the globalist guy. Not Alex Jones. Oh no.
It's not Alex Jones himself. It's not him himself. He's one of
Oh,
his.
oh, 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 it's one of his reporters. I got you. Okay. Yeah, it's one of his reporters. Okay.
I knew it.
In February of 2025,
Oh, yeah, it's
researchers
John
from the
Bauer.
Khafre
Another
Research
one. Yes,
Project,
one of his
including
reporters, John
Dr.
Bauer.
Cole Sicolo, Professor Filippo Biondi, Dr. Armando Me, and Professor Corrado Malanga, announced the detection of extensive subterranean anomalies beneath the Pyramid of Khafre. Utilizing SAR technology, or synthetic aperture radar, in collaboration with Capella Space, the team identified chambers, corridors, and vertical shafts extending at least 1 kilometer deep, or 3,280 feet deep, with dimensions mirroring
Pause that.
the
Pause that.
pyramid.
So, pause that. So it means these things are bigger than any sites in the world right now. The deeper they're bigger than the tallest buildings in the world. Now, these are advanced. I told you now that I did it. See, this throws all your goofy religions out the windows. We're talking about advanced societies, which Africans said we were. It throws it all out the window. Because this is, these findings, and they told you we would find these things again. See, the Africans are going to start finding all these anomalies that don't make regular history correct. You're going to start finding that you come from advanced civilizations. So we notice all the advanced stuff here. Because what we're looking at is a power generator. Just see, when they go under there, they're going to find all this black shit. That's what they want to show. Black statues, black people statues. They're like, oh no. We got to wait for 10 years so we can paint the shit over. Go ahead, Joe.
Scale.
Can advanced technology be lost and rediscovered centuries later?
Advanced
Is it
technology,
possible that an ancient culture had knowledge of and used
yeah.
electrical power? When
Yeah.
such electrons are given the chance to bypass sections of rock via
It
metal
proves that.
wire, quite large currents can flow. Limestone, dolomite, granite. Supposedly constructed
all
for a
electric
tomb are,
conductors.
in fact,
No, pause it.
analogous to the exact materials
Pause it. It was never said. This is white people shit. 200 years ago with Napoleon. They started becoming intelligent enough to go down into Kemet. They make all these hypotheses. This was never called a tomb in Africa during thousands of years ago. They came up with this tomb nonsense. This was the tomb they buried the pharaohs. They never called pharaohs; they were called sultans. So this is all not. There was never no tomb. But this is what the white people said. This fake science called Egyptology that this racist ass science called Egyptology that was created in the late 1800s, which is 120 years ago, when this whole fake science was created called Egyptology. So these white people couldn't figure out, oh, maybe it's a tomb, it's a big tomb. And so this same fake narrative has been allowed to keep going on and on. No one ever said this was a tomb besides these fake white people who got control of Kemet in 1800. These fake Egyptologists, and really the head Egyptologists were really the Rockefellers out of the University of Chicago. They became the head of this garbage, making up shit. No one ever said this was a tomb, but that's what they tried to claim it was. But nobody ever found in it, no evidence of a tomb. They just called it that. This the king's chamber, this the queen's chamber. None of that was ever documented. They just made it up. It's like this site. They just make up shit. And since they got control of the world, we all went with this nonsense. No, nothing in ancient African science ever said this was a tomb, ever. It always said it was like it was a power station, but they couldn't understand that because supposedly they don't want to admit that black people created power thousands of years ago. It had something to do with it destroys their soul or some crazy nonsense. But all evidence showed you that because the material in which it's built. We know it's a power station. But everyone's, there's a conspiracy theory. These are conspiracies. All these conspiracies lead back to the truth again. The way it was designed, it's a power station. It's got the water, the conductor water underneath it. It's got those pillars. Everything shows you that's why they know it. It's a power grid. It's electricity. That's why they use those materials, quartz, limestone. Those are conductors of electricity. So don't believe your lying eyes. Believe our nonsense that this was a tomb. Because they weren't smart enough back then in the 1800s when they were creating their fake science to understand, man, they didn't have electricity yet in the world. They had lost that. That had been lost thousands of years ago. Electricity was just coming back through Tesla and supposedly fake ass Edison, who really didn't do nothing about electricity. They give him credit anyway. But remember, they were just rediscovering. Because I don't say they discovered, it's a rediscovery of electricity when they would create this fake science called Egyptology. Do me a favor, Joby.
Yeah.
Go to Google and say, when was the invention? When was the creation of the science called Egyptology? Be the late 1800s.
In the late 18th century.
Told you, late 1800s, the late 1800s. They started making these because they had, and remember this civilization is over 5,000-6,000 years ago. So this when white people started giving they fake hypotheses, and then because before then they already knew that civilization was African. It was always known. But when they start finding out the greatness, white people got control of it, start studying and had control. Oh, yeah, they were also white people too. They started making up fake science and claiming they were them and just making fake movies about them being Egyptian. Just crazy talk. And now you got to argue with Mike morons on BitChute that believe they were Egyptians, they were comedians. They know the true name of the country was never called Egypt, it's called Kemet. Right? And they tell me it had to do with it had to do with the black soil. There was no soil black. That's the black people. Land of the blacks. But named after no soil. It's named after the soil. Wasn't named after any soil. That's why you don't have any spiritual connection to it. You don't understand the science behind it. Because you would already know that this was a power station if this was you who did it. The Africans always knew. The Africans are told it's a power station. You know, there's a conspiracy. You Negroes didn't do none of this. How could you do it? Because things are cyclical. Science, things are cyclical. We rise and we fall. We rise and we fall. We become smart and stupid. Smart. That's the Yuga cycle. We rise and we fall. So things are always rediscovered. There's nothing new under the sun. Things are re-understood or recalibrated or redesigned. Electricity's not new because you just created. You got finally understood electricity back in the 1800s. That's not new. It's a rediscovery. Flight is not new. It's a rediscovery how to fly. It's a rediscovery how to do medicine, and everything's rediscovered. So, but their psychopathy don't make them allow them to say Africans created, but the Africans were only people here. There were no other people here. There were no Asians, there were no East Indians, because these pyramids are older than 5,000 and 6,000 years ago. We know Thoth tells you he created these things, he built these things 35,000 years ago. And then 35,000 years ago, I hate to tell you, but no other people on this planet but black people. And these are just scientific facts. They get mad. It's not no hate. It's like a jealousy with these people. These are just facts. You did not exist. The whole planet was black. There were no Asians. You did not exist. There were no East Indians. You did not exist. Not my fault. There were no Arabs. There were no Caucasians. You did not exist. This is a fact. You take it as somebody telling you some kind of racism. How is it racism? You didn't exist. That's not my fault. I blame the person who created you. You didn't exist. And so they placate the dates. They make fake timelines. Say, oh, the pyramids were built 5,000 years ago. Okay, 5,000 years ago. You still didn't have no civilization 5,000 years ago. There was no white civilization nowhere on this planet. You were in caves, all messed up. There was no, Europe didn't exist. You didn't have any countries in Europe, didn't exist. You didn't have no countries in Greece. But Greece didn't exist. Not the Dorians. Rome didn't exist. So there was no European civilization that even existed when these were being built. But you still want to claim existence of these. There was no Arab civilization. None of you civilizations existed. None of it. There was no Chinese civilization except for the black people who were building the beginning of that. So that's a hard thing to swallow now because blacks are on the bottom now. So it's a hard thing to swallow that the people that were on the bottom created the majority of all antiquities. That's a hard thing to swallow. It burns their soul up that the people now that has scorned against and now on the bottom, that all these ancient sites were created by them. And you know why? Because they were the only people here. Like I used to show, even I had Joby show Angkor Wat. That's all full of black people shit up in there, right? All black people stuff. Joby didn't at the biggest temple. But another one called Göbekli Temple, they took it down because they knew. I knew back then they were watching me good. I mean, you guys remember when I used to show Göbekli Temple, which is now in modern day Turkey, and on this temple site, they would go into it, right? They took it down. You can't find it nowhere now. They would go to, oh, we don't know who built it. And for a second, they showed the black face. There was a black man in the corner. They showed the whole statue. They messed up. So that, you know, as they're walking, we have no idea who built it. And they turned the camera as a black man, a black African face statue in Göbekli Temple. And they you know, they saw it. They turned away from it quickly, right? You guys remember when I used to show that all the time? And then they made sure they scrubbed the internet from it. And you can't find it on YouTube because they pretend like they don't know who built. Say this ancient structure older than the pyramids, which they're not. This structure goes back 12,000 years ago, and they filmed it. They said we don't know who built it. They made a mistake because as the camera panned right, it came across a statue and there was a black man there. So everybody used to say, maybe it's this black man that you just passed who built it. Maybe him. You don't know who built it? Maybe it's this black man you just showed who built it. Right? It's a black man, a statue of an African man there, right? They said, we don't know who built this ancient temple of Göbekli. It's 12,000 years old. And they go right past the black man, the black statue. I said, maybe he built it. Maybe this man, this black African man of the statue, maybe he built it. That's why they got a statue of him right here. Maybe he built it. Could that be possible? And they scrubbed the internet. You can't find that footage because it only lasted a second. You had to be slick because I used to have to time it. I used to time stamp it because they within a second it'd be gone. You could be 1, 2. It was like 3 minutes in. You go 3 minutes and like 2 seconds and then pause it. You pause the video and then you would see it, and then instantly it would be gone. So you time stamp. So I used to show that all the time 7, 8 years ago, right? And then they got a hold to it. They knew I was doing it, so they scrubbed that from the internet. It's gone. They go. This ancient temple, older than the Giza pyramids. We don't have no idea who could have built this site. And as they talk and they pan to the right, there's a big statue of an African right there. I said, maybe he built it. Maybe this African man has just got this statue right here. They pan right past, they'll never show him again. That's how deep their racism goes. They know it's a black man. Black people built that shit. They got the statues, but they never showed it again, ever. And when I was showed all the time, I would always know where to pause the video at. And they took it down. You can't find it nowhere now because it was so clear. I said, what do you mean you don't know who built it? This black man, this African statue of this man right here, he built this shit. There's a whole statue of this man right here. He built it. We don't know who built it, Joby. Forget this African man we just found in here as a statue. We don't know. It's a mystery. So that's the scam they've been doing because their science is based off their racism. It's based off their psychopathy. All their science, especially their history, is based off racism. It's a racist bias. So what we call Egyptology is all based in racism. It's all fraudulent. It's all phony. Because they were trying to steal that civilization for themselves, and they didn't exist. And they damn sure, and when they did exist, they weren't sophisticated enough to build none of this. This is high science. That's why they sure this. You know, we can't build this shit today. That's how intelligent the individuals were that built these structures. We cannot build them today. I mean, not a little bit. We can't build these things today, not a little bit. We can't design them. We can't put them together. We can't make it into a pot. We can't do none of this. And then now the finding that Joe that we showing underneath this is astronomical. So we know we can't build these structures, the top part. But what's underneath this shit is mind-blowing. What's been found underneath this is a level of sophistication and science that surpasses us all day long. So that puts you out the kook thing. We say, well, were the ancient high-tech civilizations? Well, hell yeah, obviously so. This proves it. That they were that there were civilizations thousands of years ago more advanced than us. This shows it right there easily. So we know they're not going to dig it up. They start digging. They don't want to know they know what's in there. A bunch of black shit, a bunch of black statues again, like Göbekli Tepe Temple. A bunch of black we don't know who built this. Well, could it be all these black statues of these people? Maybe they built it. Everybody built statues of themselves. Could it be these people? No, we don't know. It's hard to say. Science has not come to that conclusion yet. Go ahead, Joe. Go ahead, contemplate.
We use to make electrical wires. They also share a relationship with pressure, which increases their electroconductivity. In 1993, a mysterious and inaccessible room was discovered after remaining hidden for thousands of years. Appearing to have deliberately been concealed by the structure's engineers, the room came to be called the Queen's Chamber.
It
was finally explored in 2011.
It didn't become the call that. That's what the Europeans claimed it was. It was never no Queen's Chamber. Never told that. That was their nonsense. Remember, understand the Europeans were just coming to something called the Enlightenment. They were stupid. So they were just learning now. They're now becoming head. They're now getting power in the world. They're now conquering the world. Right? The Europeans are now coming into what they call the Age of Enlightenment. from stupid to smart. They don't even want to claim that it was the Moors that made them smart. Everybody knows that. There was no age of enlightenment, but then they were taught by the Africans. So now they're now coming into power. And so now they see these ancient structures like, damn, what is this? Okay. This is the queen. So they say it was a burial ground, right? Burial. This is a big tomb, because that's how stupid their mind is. They're not smart enough. So this is the spiritual site. They're not intelligent enough to even know what they're looking at. So they just make to their mind would be an educated guess. This is like a big tomb. A tomb. It's stupid as hell. Now, so this is where the king would be buried, and this is where the queen would be buried. So this is the king's chamber and the queen's chamber. King and queen's chamber. Which is a lie, but that's what they're saying it now. It didn't become to be known that. That's when white people got control of the planet, so they get to dictate their nonsensical ideals. And that becomes codified because they got the power now. It was never a chamber. What'd you say, Joby?
Labeling everything.
Yeah, labeling everything, but they don't know what the hell they label, know what the hell it is. Because first they didn't claim, then they went on to claim that, okay, now we are those people. First they knew it was black people. In the beginning, we got France, Napoleon goes down, because when they start blowing up all the noses, they had all the black noses, right? They start blowing on the nose, so they knew it was black people. But their racism is so psychopathic, they couldn't come to terms with now the people that they have enslaved and have colonized have done these things that their minds just could not accept that. So that's when they start claiming to be ancient Egyptian, ancient Kemetans. They started to say, yeah, we did it. How'd you do that? You're just Africa. You people were never there. The people you see there, they invaded. Those are invaders now in Northern Africa. Those are not indigenous people to that land. Those are invaders, and we know that. Those are not indigenous Africans. But they want to claim it, you know. Okay, so how'd you come over? How'd you leave Europe? You didn't build no civilization, and there was nothing in Europe at all. You came over to Africa and built a high advanced civilization, and Europe was all fucked up. Because we know at that time Europe was all fucked up. There was nothing there. A wasteland of savages and barbarians. So you decided to travel all the way down to Africa and build a civilization, but you didn't build one where you were living at. And it's highly spiritual. You don't got a spiritual bone in your body. Nothing spiritual white people ever created. So you create a whole system based on equality and love and caring, which is not even your humanity. We know it's not you because each Kemet was humane. You're inhumane. So just the civilization that was built couldn't have been you, couldn't come from your mind. Everything you built is psychopathic. The system we live in is what you built. Your capitalism, all these isms you built. It's psychopathic. It's feudalism. That's everything you built. Have you studied anything ancient Africans always based on the collective, sharing, love, Ubuntu? That's what Kemet was. There was a culture of love and caring, not conquering people. Of educate, that's never you. You always want to keep education from people. You want to turn out the light. You want to make things unequal, unfair. Africans always want to educate everybody, want to make things equal. That's what Kemet was. It was a place of education and teaching everybody. They went out, and where you get all your fake religions from? Your fake Christianity comes from Kemet. Your fake Islam comes from Kemet. Your fake Buddhism comes from Kemet. Your fake Hinduism comes from Kemet. All of it. All of his Kemet teachings with a cut on it. Because the Africans took the knowledge out to everybody and tried to teach you the knowledge. That's why every religion seems the same. What you understand is esoteric meaning. What you go back to is esoteric meaning, not the exoteric. But the esoteric meaning tells you that you are the Christos. Everything is light. And what you see in Islam, Christianity, that's why it's called Christianity. That's why you got Buddhism. Buddha was a Christ before the fake Jesus. Hindus, Christ, the same Krishna, Christ. So it's the same teachings being taught around the world. So all these religions are fake. They're just a cut of African science, right, and taken to their own culture. That's why you got Krishna in Hinduism, the Christ. Buddha was a Christ. Hare Krishna, Christ. Hare Christ. Hare Krishna. He's the Christ. Jesus Christ. Everything, all you did was take African science and bastardize it. So if you understood where everything came from, it flowed from what? The African taught spiritual love, forgiveness, oneness. That's not none of you people's nature. You took the science and made it into your goofy authoritarian religions about hell and a devil and all this other goofy shit. So you can't claim our culture where you don't understand the science and you're not spiritual. Most of you have what they call a calcified pineal gland. It's not a spiritual bone in your body. That's why your systems are never, your religions have no spirituality in it. Christianity is garbage. Islam is garbage. There's no spiritual shit in none of it. It's a filthy bastardization of African science because you can't build a spiritual system because your calcified pineal glands won't let you. You don't believe in a system equality. That's why every one of you people created slavery. There was no slavery in Kemet. You want to put, that's why your Bible shit, but there's never any slavery in ancient Kemet because they knew that was spiritually wicked. The Africans didn't practice that until they descended, till they go down in the Yuga cycle, they started doing it. But ancient Kemet was all spirit. They knew slavery was wrong. You had everybody know that they let my people go from your goofy Bible is a lie. And that even the Arabs who took over Kemet now know there was no slavery in Kemet. That's a fact. That's what the science shows. But you don't want to go get your goofy Bible. The Bible said Kemet had some fake people as slaves. Well, no slaves. That was a spiritual system based on egalitarian science, love for brother and sister. And then, you know, they didn't treat the women like we treat women now. It wasn't a system of preying on women because we don't control the planet no more. You psychopaths do. Women were equal in Kemet. So you ain't never had no society where white women ever been equal. Any of you other women, whether it be Arabs, Asians, East Indians, have ever been equal in a society ever. It's never existed ever. In ancient Kemet, the women were equal, and the man could not rule until the woman okayed that. That's not none of your goofy societies, because you're all anti-women. That's why the system we live in today is anti-female, because you got control of the planet. Do this for me real quick, Joby. Yeah. Say the word Pharaoh meant house. Because they're gonna start hiding the word Pharaoh. Etymology say the word Pharaoh meant house.
So they say that the word Pharaoh originates from the Egyptian phrase, how do I pronounce it? Meaning the great house, which originally referred to the royal place and later came to be used as a title of the Egyptian king.
That's not, it never became known that. That's what the white people made later, way after the Bible. They made that 200 years ago, Joby, when they started learning about Egypt. That's a lie. It was always called house, and it meant the woman's house because, see, that's where they took your history and distorted because they hate women, right? So it meant the woman's house. So the man to become a king, Joby, you had to step in the woman's house because she had to anoint you as the king. You couldn't become king without the permission of the woman, Joe.
Yeah, I know that.
Because all lineage went back to the woman. Mm-hmm. You couldn't become king without her permission. That's only an African tradition. That's not in the European tradition. That's not in fucking Asian tradition. It's not an East Indian tradition. That's how you know Kemet was ancient African, because of the traditions, Joe. That still persists in some parts of Africa still today. These are African traditions, not European. There's no way the Europeans had women in leadership positions consistently. Doesn't exist. They wanted to dominate their women and put their women under their boot. The women were not equal partner in none of these societies. So
This
you
one,
have
they use it as a biblical term, Pharaoh. You know, Pharaoh, which is used to refer to king of the Egypt.
Yeah, it was never called king. That's a lie. It was that was the house. See they changed. See, when they got control, they changed it because they know what it meant, Joe. To
all this, yeah.
And so imagine when you try to decipher something. You don't know what it is, so you just make up. So you just change the names to be what you want it to be. Okay, Pharaoh must have meant king. No, that's how you know the Bible's a lie, because they called him a Pharaoh. That was never the name of the king. Man, like it's the house, Joby. It was the woman's house. Had nothing to do with any king. King was called the Sultan. But since they didn't know that, they just made it up. That's why in your Bible it's called the Pharaoh. That's not what they called the king. King was called the Sultan. The Pharaoh was a house, wasn't a person. But since they didn't know that, in your goofy Bible it says, and Pharaoh Ramses talked to Moses. What? The house? The house talked to Moses? What are you talking about? See, when you go back, you got to know exactly. And the Europeans always want to keep education from everybody and meal. They don't want to have an equal playing field. African wanted to teach everybody knowledge. But the European is always the system we got now. You got school fees, keep knowledge, have everybody stupid and a few people smart so they can rule over everybody. That's why they never wanted to educate the slaves. And it's always the same thing about giving people education so they can rule. It's always some domination shit. It's never egalitarian. Africans' normal state is egalitarian, not the system. Now I'm going to say today they rule by a European system, but the ancient all Africans always ruled as egalitarian. You wanted the best for everybody. Ubuntu. You wanted everybody to be educated. You didn't think it was right to have some people smart, some people stupid, but in their society they believe that. They don't want people educated. They stop everybody from getting. That's why school fees exist. And why in America you got it goes, since they impoverish you, it goes to your the schools are based on what? Your tax dollars. So if you don't got a good job, you're not gonna have a lot of taxes, so your schools are gonna suck. Now why would you want that? If you got a fair system, you want all children to be highly educated. They don't want that in America. They want to make sure if you're poor, your tax dollars give you poor schools. That's why it's designed that way. It's designed that way on purpose. It's not an accident that they designed it, that the schools are based on your tax dollars, how much money you make. So you look at all the white areas, all the schools are nice and good, and the black areas are all raggedy and fucked up and destroyed because black people are poor, and our taxes, since we're making a lot of money, we don't have a lot of taxes, and the schools suck. That's on purpose, to make it unfair, unequal, so you won't be a threat to their power. That's how the European rose. So the idea he built a spiritual system in Africa is absolutely crazy, because that's never been his nature. Talking about somebody's nature. He's never been a system of equality. There's no system Europeans ever built that was equal. It's always unfair. Always trying to find a way to put them on top and to keep them there. He doesn't believe in educating everybody. He doesn't believe in educating people, period. They don't believe in that. They never have. They threaten if you get educated. That's why the world, most of the planet is dumb, because they got control of the planet. That's why most of the planet is stupid as shit on purpose. It's easy to rule over dumb people. They don't know. They're easily led because they don't know how to decipher or critically think. That wasn't the African Kemet. Was what? Let's educate everybody. That's why I told you, you got all these fake religions now out here. Those are all African teachings. Buddhism comes from Africa. That's why your first Buddha is black. Not this fake motherfucker you see today. Some Asian. Of course, they took the religion and made them look like themselves, which is smart. But the original Buddha is black. He's all black teachers. That's why the original shit in India is all black people. All the guys were black. These are facts. Everybody's got the Christ name in them. Hare Krishna, Krishna in Hinduism, and this fake Jesus Christ. The Christ was a way of raising vibration. You became the Christ, not a person. But you see all this a cut off a cut off a cut. It's all ancient Africa. The African was trying to raise people's knowledge, give them intellect, teach them. And if you get all the old papers, you see how the Africans had schools everywhere, was going everywhere. African went out to India, to China, and taught. That's why your first Chinese dynasties are African. Your first Japanese dynasties are Africans. Teaching these people how things work, how civilization is. But somehow we lost power, and then the hatred comes in. The anti-black hatred came in because you're trying to teach a barbarian about love, and they're just not in their nature. Okay, this was never in their nature. Not everybody, but it wasn't in their nature. And so the stealing of history has been quite funny, because you can know it's a lie because the nature of a thing. You can't give me nobody white being no comedian. Your nature says you're not. Your nature. See, you don't want to study what Kemet actually was. What was it based on? What was the science based on? Based on love, care, responsibility, reciprocity, mayat, balance, harmony. So when has the European ever been in harmony with any nature or any other people? Never. So how could you believe you built that? There's never been nothing in Europe ever had harmony and reciprocity. Your shit is always stealing, grab, death, murder, mayhem. You being on top at all costs, everything's unfair, unequal, like it is today. You never had an equal society. Why did you get so many black people in prison? You've never done anything equal. And white people breaking bones. You've never had a society based on egalitarianism and equality. You've never, because you don't believe in that. Because if you did, you would have been built it. You've never built that. That's what Kemet was. And you try to claim something that's not even in your nature. So we know it's not. That's what's crazy about you. We know it's not you. You've never built a system like Kemet. Ever. And you could never build one. Because you're not spiritually centered. That was based on spirituality. So all these attributes, all these, what you call voodoo that you hate today, your voodoo, that's what ancient Kemet science was, what you call voodoo. The manipulation of energy. That's just a different name. What you call voodoo was Kemet science, which proves to be science, which is quantum, your quantum mechanics, or your quantum theory, which was called alchemy, which now your science proves to be real. You said it's all voodoo was evil. Voodoo. That's the manipulation of energy. And we know now, and you should know now, that the universe is energy, vibration, and frequency. That's what spirituality is. The manipulation of that. All right? The Africans knew that this was an illusion. Thousands of years ago. Hundreds of thousands. They knew that this wasn't even real. That death wasn't real. They already, the science already told them, hey, this is an illusion. We live in a holographic universe. This ain't even real. Even though there's laws to this shit that we're in, right? If you jump off a building, your body will get crushed and you will die, right? And your spirit will be let out, you come back again. But they knew there was no such thing as real death, and that's the end. There was never no thing called non-existence, as your goopy religions taught you. No such thing as non-existence. Non-existence can't exist because everything exists. They knew that. There's no such thing as not ever existing. There's no such thing as that. Nothing can't exist that ever existed, because existence is eternal. And these things that the African taught, which your science now took 20, 40,000 years to finally catch up to, that nothing can be non-existence, because everything exists. If you're existing now, you can never not exist. in some state or form. That's the thing of energy. Energy can never be destroyed or created. That's what that's what you finally got from that. So the Africans told you thousands of years ago. If things exist, it can never be it can never unexist. Once it's in existence, it can never be in existing. Because it already exists. There's no such thing as non-existence. If it's already non-existent, it wouldn't be in this universe. It would never exist. We would never know what it is anyway. That's why they knew there was no such thing as death. Go ahead, Joby. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Camera to reveal a long-lost mummy? Hardly. It contained carefully crafted copper wire.
Of course, copper wire.
There were instructions painted as symbols onto the floor, which appeared to show a clear wiring diagram.
Is what we are witnessing the unveiling of a massive ancient power source? Or is there more to this potentially human history-altering discovery? Edgar Cayce, a Kentucky-born psychic who gave 14,000 trance readings in the early 20th century, spoke extensively about a hidden hall of records tied to ancient civilizations, particularly Atlantis and Egypt. Casey's take, straight from his readings, was that this hall of records is a literal time capsule buried near the Great Sphinx at Giza, Egypt. He pinpointed it between the Sphinx and the river, saying it holds the history of
But that's what Tahuti told you. Remember, that's what Tahuti told you. Remember, Tahuti calls that the halls of Amenti, the great halls of record. That's in the Emerald Tablets. I used to do the Emerald Tablets all the time. That's in, of course, this is all fake. No, it's all real. So once it resonates with you, as the tablets told you, if the light is in you, it's in you. It's a vibrational thing. So I knew what I was reading was right, but no fake shit. And so all of it's being proven right. He told you after he created the pyramids, when he created the pyramid, he created the great halls of Amenti. He said in later dates, as the Yuga cycle, as the great year starts to come, you start coming back out of your sleep. Tells you in the Emerald Tablets, you're going to start rediscovering all these things. The Hall of Records, which I put underneath the pyramids. So all this stuff is coming back like he said they were. Right? As I go down to halls of Amenti, that's where he used to go down and leave his body, leave whatever clone he created, and have his ball of light and hook up with the Earth's magnetic field and recharge his cells so he can live another 1,000 years. See, this ancient science, ancient. I'm not talking about 10. See, it's to 20, 30, 40, 50, 60,000 years ago. Older than that. Because as Africans, we are ancient. That's why they can't track our DNA goes off the planet. Our DNA goes off this motherfucker. We the only people on the planet. Our DNA goes off the planet. Because it tells you we came from Sirius. We came from another planet. Our DNA is the only people that goes off the planet. Another fact. We're the only people. The African goes off the planet. Everybody else was created here. On this planet. That's a fact. We're the only one that got ghost DNA, goes off the planet. And we don't know what it is. Those are dormant DNA, so as we come back online, all this shit's going to start popping off. All this stuff those talked about, we're going to be able to do all this shit again. That's what they call ghost DNA. It's only in African people. Sorry. I don't mean hurt your feelings. It's not racism. It's just a fact. I apologize. If you say I'm being racist, teaching you this fact. That the Africans only want to have ghost DNA. This is a fact. What they call junk DNA. This is a fact. I'm sorry if you call this racism. It's just a fact. Go ahead, Joe.
Stashed by survivors around 10,500 BC. He described 3 such halls worldwide, one under Giza, another in the Bahamas near Bimini, and a third in the Yucatan. The Egyptian one, he said, is linked to the Sphinx right paw, with chambers leading to a pyramid-shaped.
He's talking about toes. He's talking about. See, I told you the ones in Mexico. He just showed. I told you the whole civilization was created by Thoth over there. The ones in Mexico, what we call southern Mexico, Guatemala, Honduras. Those pyramids were created by Thoth in this hemisphere. I explained that. Said that he created that. He told you he did those. And I told you that's why I know his ass is wicked. Because all those pyramidal sites became sites of what? Sacrifice. And see, it took me years to keep going back over the emerald tablets. Who's this dweller this motherfucker meeting up with? We know his daddy is Ptah, is Inky. With that little white lady said, this is Inky. We know Thoth's daddy is Inky. And we know Thoth had a fight with his brother Marduk from Kemet. He gets banned from Kemet. He goes over to America, start creating them other pyramids. But they always turn to what? Sacrifice. They throwing bodies and virgins. They throwing people off the damn pyramids, sacrifice them, killing blood rituals. What's going? I said, wow. And then as I go deep into the emerald tablets, I'm saying, wow, this is that dweller. That's that Ogo. This is the demiurge motherfucker. Because why is everything Thoth is building, Tahuti building, now all coming with sacrifice all the time? The Aztecs had sacrifice, the Mayans were sacrificing shit. Later on, when he builds this shit and descends, he leaves it, turns in all this sacrifice shit. Blood rituals. Down in South America with the Incas, it's always this sacrifice shit. And we know these damn other Indians, they weren't sophisticated enough to build these structures. This is high science. This is science we can't even do today. This is high spiritual. He said spiritual science. I built the pyramids. He said high spiritual science. I built this shit. So why is it now? It's now blood rituals. Because in the Emerald Tablets, remember he said he was taken down to meet the dweller of Unda. Was taken. My father, Enkidu, took me down to meet the dweller. Who the fuck is this dweller? Who the fuck is that? I kept asking him, who the fuck is this? I said, and then I got the download from the crib. Oh, this that fucking Ogo. This the damn demiurge. This the damn Yaldabaoth. As Bobby Hemmett calls it, Yaldabaoth. Yaldabaoth, right? This that Yaldabaoth motherfucker. That's who Tahuti's going to meet. And remember, he has to feed off your energy because God cut him off. The true creator cut his ass off because he didn't wait for his feminine half to start creating. So everything's now out of balance. So he was cut off because he's making shit out of balance. So he's cut off from true God. So he couldn't get energy from true God no more. Everything has energy from true God. So this entity, this Ogo, this Yaldabaoth, whatever you want to call him, like your devil in the Bible, the dweller, and in the Emerald Tablet, that's his ass. So remember, Tahuti's telling you he taught him. So obviously taught him how to make these pyramids and all this advanced shit. And taught him use these things to sacrifice, because whenever you die, there's a burst of energy. When the body dies, there's a burst of energy. And this thing and its entities, which we call these demons, or we call archons, feed off the energy. The archons would feed, so you would throw a body off, it would clear as balls of light. And that's how I knew I was right, because it's in the ancient Aztecs and Mayan texts, they talk about the balls of light. Because remember, outside your body, you're just a ball of light, you're a ball of energy. I said, well, who the fuck are they sacrificing this shit to? They said we would sacrifice to the balls of light. They were balls of light. Oh, this is Tahuti outside of his goddamn body, as he's telling you in the Emerald Tablets. So you must learn to leave your body, untether yourself from the body. And then I knew he was doing wicked shit, because remember, do this for me real quick, Joby. Go to Google and say this real quick for me. Say images of the Egyptian deity, or just Just say images of Anubis. 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 Images of Anubis. This stuff goes deeper and deeper. Show us what you got. Images of Anubis. Anubis. So Jover just see some hound looking ass things, some dog face looking motherfuckers. Okay, there we go. Black. Okay, now remember, since Thoth is doing wicked, now remember, there you go, Anubis, right? The dog, right? Anubis is the guardian of dimensions, right? It all seemed like it was mythology. Then you start knowing it's all true. So let me think about her. So Anubis, excuse me, guys. What? So Anubis was the guardian of a dimension. If you wasn't vibrating high enough, you couldn't go to another dimension, right? Because Anubis would be there to stop you. You wasn't spiritually high enough, vibrate high enough to move up in dimension. You wasn't righteous enough to go to another dimension. Anubis was the guard, right? And so remember, during the Emerald Tablets, Thoth says he leaves his body. To who he says he leaves his body, remember? And he's going through the universe, trying to go to the upper edges, go to another dimension. But he had did some wicked. So I didn't know, that means he had done some wicked shit. Remember, because he said the hounds started chasing him. And he had to run back into his body. Remember that? Remember doing it? When Joby was playing it? He said he left his body. You guys remember the Emerald Tablets?
Yeah.
And he said these hounds started chasing me, and he couldn't go straight into his body. He had to circle like a vortex back into his body. Because this motherfucker couldn't go to the next dimension because he wasn't righteous. He's done wicked shit. So Anubis was there to stop. He said he started getting chased by these hounds. I should have asked Joby to find that piece in the Emerald Tablets. He said they chased him back into his body, but to keep him from devouring his ass, because he wasn't supposed to go to certain areas because his soul was fucked up. Because you can't go to the 5th and 6th and 7th dimension unless you're operating on complete love. You haven't done no wicked shit. So he couldn't go all parts of the universe where he wanted to go other dimension because the hounds of Anubis were there and stopped his ass, and they started chasing his ass. Because these are the guidelines that show you, even in all the ancient Egyptian walls, it shows you Anubis guides you to the next dimension. So Tahuti gets out of his body. Do this for me real quick, Joey. Go. Say, go to YouTube real quick and say, Thoth. Oh, you found it up there? You found the writing or something?
Yeah. The Emerald Tablets.
Yeah, the Emerald. But I didn't want the whole thing. I just want to go to the part where it says when he left his body and he was chased by the hounds. See if you can find that. Keep going.
And only now has permission been given for part to be published. It is expected that many will scoff.
Yet
they
will laugh.
True student will read between the lines and gain
and understand. Gain
if
wisdom.
the light is in you, the light
It's
which
in
is
you.
engraved in these tablets will respond. Now,
He said if your consciousness is see, if you have a small thing of understanding, you have a small frame of consciousness. If your consciousness has expanded, you have a big range of consciousness of knowledge. You start understanding what's real and what's not. That's what he's saying here. Go ahead, Joby.
Aspect of the tablets. They consist of 12 tablets of emerald green, formed from a substance created through alchemical transmutation. They are imperishable, resistant to all elements and substances. In effect, the atomic and cellular structure is fixed, no change ever taking place. In this respect, they violate the material law of ionization. Upon them are engraved characters in the ancient Atlantean language, characters which respond to attuned thought waves. releasing their
vibration.
associated mental vibration in the mind
Exactly.
of the reader.
Everything's vibration.
The tablets
So
are fastened together with hoops of golden-colored alloy
So pause
suspended
it. So
from a
pause
rod
it. So
of the
pause it.
same.
So we know white people, you can't understand this because you have a calcified pineal gland. Your vibration is low because you're wicked. You're based in racism. None of this can ever be you. You're based in racism, inequality, unfair. See, you'll never resonate with none of this because you're low vibrational entities. That's what you are. You'll never resonate with it. You're based in the base. You're racist. You want to dominate people. You don't want any kind of equality and fair play. It's not your nature. So these things will not resonate with you. Go ahead, Joby.
Material. So much for the material appearance. The wisdom contained therein is the foundation of the ancient mysteries, and for the one who reads them with open eyes and mind, his wisdom shall be increased 100-fold. Read, believe or not, but read. And the vibration found therein will awaken a response in your soul.
Start waking
in
up.
Cosmic harmony, Doriel, supreme voice of the Brotherhood. Emerald Tablet 1. The History of Thoth the Atlantean.
Hootie.
I, Thoth the Atlantean, Master of Mysteries, Keeper of Records, Mighty King, Magician, living from generation to generation, being about to pass into the halls of Amenti.
Pause it. To the halls of Amenti. Halls of Amenti, that's what he told you he built under those pyramids. About to go and dwell into the halls of Amenti. Everybody, oh, this is all crazy, talk this crazy. And now you see the findings of that very thing that may be the halls of Amenti. What he's telling you. Go ahead, Joby.
So those that are to come after, these records of the mighty wisdom of great Atlantis. In the great city of Kior, on the island of Undal, in a time far past, I began this incarnation. He began his incarnation.
Of the present age. See, not as the little man of this little age. I began this new life, but not as the little men. So he's talking about the Yuga cycle. He's talking about most people he's been born with are stupid. Not as the little men. He's being honest. Not as these morons I'm being now around. Because the Yuga cycles must have been a low vibrational period of time. The 25,000 year great year, as it's really called. They gave it to the Indians. They changed it to Yuga, whatever. Sakti Yuga, Dakti Yuga, and all these different Yugas. It's called the 20,000, because things work cycles of time. European, never understand why he thought he's going to rule forever. No rule is ever forever. There's cycles of time. Empires rise, empires fall. Things go up, things go down. So he's telling you he's still being brought back with all his knowledge intact. And most everybody around he's around calling the little men that they're stupid. And part of the 25,000 year great cycle of time where they're not really that smart. Go ahead, Joe.
Did the mighty ones of Atlantis live and die, but rather from aeon to aeon,
did they live.
They renew their life in the halls of Amenti, where the river of life flows eternally onward.
Now pause it. Now pause it. Now the river of life, what we call the Brooklyn currents. The Brooklyn currents is something you can't see, but they are the energy from the universe coming from a sun, right? Everything is plugged in. Every planet, every sun is plugged in to each other, having Brooklyn currents run consecutively into the sun, down to a planet, to another sun, to a sun, to another planet, what we call star. So he would go and leave his body. He's going to get some, when Anubis going to chase his ass, leave his body and go regenerate his cells. So he can live, like he said, to eon, never having to die and come back, die and come back, die and come back, never have to constantly be reincarnated. Go ahead, Joby.
I have descended the dark way that led into the light, and as many times have I ascended from the darkness into the light, my strength and power renewed. Now for a time I descend, and the men of Chem shall know me no more.
Pause it. He's saying, pause it, Joby. He's saying the men of Chem. He's not talking about the soil. He's talking about the people. The men of Chem, which were black, timid, not Egypt. The men of Kim would know me no more. The black people would know me no more, because I'm going to rest in the halls of Amenti. So I'm going to be gone for a couple thousand years to just chill. I will leave the men of Kim, the black people. That's what Kemet means, black, land of black people. Go ahead, Joby. Not white people.
Yet unborn, I will rise again, mighty
rise
and
again.
potent, requiring an accounting of those left behind me. Then beware, O men of Chem, if ye have falsely betrayed my teaching, for I shall cast ye down from your high estate into the darkness.
So listen to I want you to listen to some of his wickedness. That's why this nigga, he did not be able to go to another dimension. I would cast you down. I would do all this wicked shit he's talking about. So he's not complete. I want people to say, dude, he's not all good. That's why I'm glad he told me to keep listening to this over and over again, over and over. Keep listening over and over again, over till I complete. Because when I first started listening to this 20 years, I couldn't understand none of it. I wasn't intelligent enough to understand none of this shit. But now I know this thing backward and forward and backward. So he's telling you about his fucked up ego of him wanting to be also ruled and adorned. This is what he's showing you here. This nigga here, and he's black. Sorry, white people, not white. He's black. just like his daddy's black, like that white lady showed you. His daddy's black. Sorry. Go ahead.
He came. Betray not my secrets to the men of the north, or the men of the south, lest my curse fall upon ye. Remember and heed my words, for surely will I return again and require of thee that which ye guard. I, even from beyond time and from beyond death, will I return. Rewarding
He's telling you he knows.
Your trust.
So he's telling you he knows there's no such thing as death. And now his body just is waiting and like he's like waiting in a stasis, right? His soul is just sleeping in a clone or something. He's in stasis. Who are you gonna punish? You can't punish me, motherfucker. Who the fuck are you? See, this is how you know he's now. I told you he's behind all this other wicked shit. Who the fuck are you talking about? You? Who the fuck are you talking about? You gonna punish me? You ain't no better than me. Who are you talking about? Who are you talking to? That's when you start knowing. So I know too much now. Who the fuck you talking to? You gonna punish who? Who are you talking to? You ain't no better than me. You ain't no God over me. You ain't no better than me. You had more information, more knowledge at the time, but you damn sure ain't better than me. Who the fuck you talking about? You ain't punishing nobody here. What are you talking about? Go ahead, Joby.
Great were my people in the ancient days,
great
beyond
people.
The conception of the little people now around me.
Little people around me. See,
the wisdom of
the morons around me.
In the heart of infinity knowledge that belonged to Earth's youth. Wise were we with the wisdom of the children of light who dwelt among us.
See, lies with me. See, at that time they said the children of light. The other ones that were just light beings without the bodies yet. So they were dwelling without, and these are the archons, right? These wicked motherfuckers. See, that's what I'm getting. Because remember, we know that the earth was created by the archons, by Yaldabaoth and his evil demons, the archons. So these balls of light are these wicked motherfuckers, these archons that feed off human energy, feed off your energy. So these are these wicked archons. He's talking about the balls of light, the children of light. These are the archons. They don't have a body. These are the archons that Yaldabaoth created to serve him or serve it. These are these demonic entities called the archons, who now when he open up portals, they come in those light beings Joby showed you coming through the portals and shit. They be like sprites and shit. These are these motherfuckers he's talking about. These are the light beings. These are the archons. These are archons. He's talking about the ones that Yaldabaoth created, as it tells you in the Dogon text. Shout out to the Dogon and also the ancient Gnostic texts, who were ancient Kemites, the ancient Coptic, Egyptian, ancient Africans. Spoke about all. So he's talking about the goddamn archons, these balls, these evil motherfuckers, these balls of light without any bodies yet. These are these demonic entities that Yaldabaoth created to serve him, which it shows you in the Dogon text, and it shows you in what they call the Nag Hammadi text. Go ahead, Joby.
were we, with the power drawn from the eternal fire. And of all these, greatest among the children of men was my father, Thothme, keeper of the great temple, link between the children of light who dwelt within the temple and the races of men who inhabited the 10 islands. Mouthpiece, after the 3, of the dweller of Unal.
Here we go, pause that. Pause that. The dweller of Unal. There we go. Who the fuck is the dweller of Unal? That ain't his daddy. That ain't Inky punk ass. Who the fuck is the dweller? How you say, who the hell is this dweller cat? And remember, the dweller's gonna ask, gonna tell Inky, bring your son to me. Bring Tahuti to me so I can teach his ass. Okay, so now we know the dweller is this goddamn Ogo the Dogons talk about, or what the Gnostics called Yaldabaoth. That's the dweller. That's who Thoth is talking about. That's Yaldabaoth or Ogu. That's the dweller. Not nothing good. Go ahead, Joby.
With the voice that must be obeyed.
Must be obeyed.
Grew I there from a child into manhood, being taught by my father the elder mysteries. Until in time there grew within the fire of wisdom, until it burst into a consuming flame. Naught desired I but the attainment of wisdom, until on a great day the command came from the dweller of the temple that I be brought before him. Few there were among the children of men who had looked upon that mighty face.
Face and live. So remember, because he's one of the original demigods. Ogo is like remember, that's one of the first creations of the true God. So of course his face you look at it, you would die because he's still powerful. So he's been asked by Ogu, told Inky, bring me your son. So Thoth is being summoned, Tahuti's being summoned to fucking Ogo. Who's he calling the dweller? I'm like, who the fuck is this goofy dweller? Who the fuck is that? And I finally got, it took me all these years to realize this Ogo ass. This is the demiurge. This is motherfucking Yaldabaoth. I said, damn, why it took me so long to figure this out? Shit. Who is this goofy dweller he's talking about? It's Ogo. And then he's telling you about the light. He's so bright, if you look at his face, because he's a demigod, it would kill you if you weren't powerful enough to look into his face. The same thing about the God shit. Remember, that's the God shit in your goofy Bible. This motherfucking Ogo is the God of your Bible. It's really the devil. Go ahead, Joby.
And lived. For not as the sons of men are the children of light, when they are not incarnate in a physical body.
Not in the body, in the physical body.
Was I from the sons of men, taught by the dweller, so that his purposes might be fulfilled. Purposes yet unborn in the womb of time.
So pause it. So he was taught by the dweller, by this Ogu. See, this is where you got all this sacrifice. That's why you got this goofy Christianity shit, sacrificing the blood of Jesus, all this wicked shit, this blood ritual shit, right? Everything's based in this blood and this wicked shit about when he would create pyramids, he would always have to have blood sacrifice. Why the Christianity is a blood sacrifice. It's all wicked, it's all demonic. You don't sacrifice anybody's blood and drinking blood. It's all demonic shit. These Christians can't even figure that out. You drinking some blood of some motherfucker, that's all demonic. You don't drink nobody's blood and eat their body, not even in symbolism. And that's the same thing he did with all these pyramids and down in South America and the Yucatan Peninsula, down in Mexico, Honduras, and all these other. They would sacrifice bodies to this fucking Ogo, to this dweller, so they could feed. Because remember, they don't have bodies. They don't have any. They cannot get energy because they were cut off from true God. They were cut off. I'm gonna show you about how Anubis. I'm gonna show you this with Anubis. I'm gonna show you how in a minute. Go talk about the hounds. I want you to listen in a minute, right? I'm gonna show you this. So they were cut off because he didn't wait for his feminine half to create balance. So everything he creates is in balance. That's why the Europeans are in balance. He created them motherfuckers. That's who got their ass. That's right. Listen and learn. That's your ass. So anyway, They create an imbalance. And so he's so now he's being taught by this damn Ogo. And Inky, his daddy, took him to him. He said, my dad was told to bring me to the dweller. That's Ogo. As the Dogon told you, the ancient Africans, Dogon and Mali, who came from Kemet, who they told you also in the Nag Hammadi text. The Gnostics, who the Christians killed off. They killed the Gnostics, telling that what you worshiping is this devil, is this Ogo, is this y'all the boss motherfucker. That's who you worship. That's who your God of the Bible is. This Yahweh character. Go ahead, Joby.
I dwelt in the temple, learning ever and yet ever more wisdom, until I, too, approached the light emitted from the great fire. Taught me he, the path to Amenti, the underworld where the great king sits upon his throne of might. Deep I bowed in homage before the lords of life and the lords of death, receiving as my gift the key of life. Free was I of the halls of Amenti, bound not by death to the circle of life. Far to the stars I journeyed until space and time.
Now pause the joke. Here we go right here. Now we leave this body. See, now he's telling you he's leaving his body, right? He left his body. Now journeying through space where time and space becomes not. But those ass is not allowed to go to another dimension because God already knows he's with this wicked motherfucker and about to do wicked shit. He already knows it. Go ahead. I want you guys to listen to this part right here. Go ahead.
Then, having drunk deep of the cup of wisdom, I looked into the hearts of men, and there found I greater mysteries, and was glad. For only in the search for truth could my soul be stilled, and the flame within be quenched.
Search for truth, my
Down
ass.
through the ages I lived, seeing those around me taste the cup of death,
die,
and
come
return
back.
again
See,
in the light of life.
See, he's telling you about
Gradually,
reincarnation. He let you know they would die and come back, die and come back, die. Because there's no such thing as death. You ain't learned how to vibrate to get out of here, you coming back. He's letting you know, I would see them die and come back, see them die and come back. They didn't know who they were, but I knew who they were because I knew their vibration of their soul. So they see him die and come back, die and come back, die and come back. While he constantly just lived. Go ahead, Joe.
The kingdoms of Atlantis passed waves of consciousness
Waves
that
of
had
consciousness.
been one with me, only to be replaced by spawn of a lower star.
Pause it.
Obedience to
So I want you to, as I tell you what that means, remember he said, waves of consciousness that were with him. So at one time everybody was still smart. He said, but only to return under a lower star. That means you were lower in the 25,000 year cycle. You were further away from Sirius, our second star. So as you get away from Sirius, you become stupider. You go down in vibration. So he's telling you they would come back and they were now dumber because we were under a different star, a lesser star. So you going away from the 25,000 year cycle of time, you're going back down. So the people coming being born are dumber. That's what he's talking about. Well, you got to know all this stuff to understand. It takes years to understand all this shit. So he's telling you that they're coming back under a different cycle of time, being further away in the Yuga cycle or the Great Year cycle. Go ahead, Joker.
Law, the word of the master grew into flower. Downward into darkness turned the thoughts of the Atlanteans, until at last in his wrath arose from his Aguanti, the dweller. This word has no English equivalent. It means a state of detachment. Speaking the word, calling the power, deep in the earth's heart, the sons of Amenti heard, and hearing, directed the changing of the flower of fire that burns eternally, changing and shifting, using the logos, until that great fire changed its direction. Over the world then broke the great waters,
the
deluge and sinking, changing earth's.
And this not the deluge of the Bible. Remember, this is over 50-something, 60,000 years ago. This has nothing to do with the Bible text of the Noah shit, because wasn't no other people, wasn't no Noah and these other people existed yet. So this is before he's saying they were practicing too much wicked shit, open the portal. See, they never give you the whole thing no more. This only pieces. So he said the Atlanteans, he said, but who? That was Thoth in them. So they would open up portals, what they doing now. And ain't funny, they learned how to do it now. Opening up portals, letting demonic beings in here, and the demonic beings were inhabiting. At that time, they started creating white people back then. And his father found out. Inky like, oh, whoa, what are you doing? You can't do this. See, they'll never teach that part. Inky and Thoth had a falling out too. Say, what you doing? You can't. It's not even in none of these. They edited all these tablets. You used to get it 20 years ago when you know what you were researching about. Inky's like, what are you doing? What are you doing, Thoth? What are you doing? You can't be doing this. Because they were creating clones to house these demonic entities in from a lower dimension. And that's what he's saying. And so they had to kill these things off. And so they flipped the earth on its axis to flood these demonic entities out of here. To break kill the bodies and let those the souls come out so they can take it down to a lower dimension. That's what he's found out. And they never tell you that Inky and Thoth had a falling out. They don't even mention that in these texts. They've edited all this shit because now you're starting to learn. All this shit. That's why that pyramid's being released. You're starting to learn all this shit. Had nothing to do with your fake history, your fake Bible, Quran, all that shit is fake. The world's more mysterious, more things you can't even fathom how shit really runs. And you're going to start knowing all this because now you're in a different age, the age of Aquarius, which you're going back towards what? In the Yuga cycle, the great year cycle of knowledge. So all these things are going to start being revealed to you no matter what. So at that time, his father saying, hey, what are you doing? But they never tell you that in this tablet. Thoth is doing that shit. Thoth is creating these crackers. Thoth is doing this. Tahuti's doing this shit. And his dad is like, whoa, what are you doing? What the hell are you doing? Are you out of your fucking mind? And so they wipe it out. That's how they wipe out Atlantis. And that's how they're going to start doing it. That's how we got the people here today. Because Thoth does it again 50,000 years later. That's how we got all these people on this planet. Him and that fucking Ogo, that dweller cat. Go ahead, Joby. I want to see one of these is biting the dog, chase his ass. Go ahead.
Balance until only the Temple of Light was left standing on the great mountain of Undal,
so he flies
still rising out of the water. Some there were who were living, saved from the rush of the fountains. Called to me then the Master, saying, gather ye together my people, take them by the arts ye have learned afar across the waters, until ye reach the land of the hairy barbarians.
I don't know. Black people not hairy. So what are they talking about? And at that time, that was no. See, that's another edit. That's edited crazy because there was no desert. All of Africa didn't have any desert then. All of Africa was plush. That's just 10,000. So that's 50,000 years ago. 10,000 years ago, Africa, all up there was no Sahara Desert. It didn't exist. So this has been edited because there was no desert nowhere in Africa. That was all greenery like it is in Kenya. All that shit was all green back then. So, and barbarians. Africa's never been no barbarians. What you talking about? We're not hairy. What you talking about? So go ahead.
Follow there the plan that ye know of. Gathered I then my people, and entered the great ship of the Master. Upward we rose into the morning. Dark beneath us lay the temple. Suddenly, over it rose the waters, vanished from earth until the time appointed. He's flying.
Remember, he's flying his daddy Inky's flying saucer. I took the flying saucer and flew to Kim. Told you, flight, you just returning back to flight. As he told you, you've always flown. You lost that knowledge, and now the knowledge is coming back a flight again. Okay? He said, I took the flight. We flew to Kemet. Yeah. Go ahead, Joey.
Great temple. Fast we fled toward the sun of the morning, until beneath us lay the land of the children of Chem. Raging, they came with cudgels and spears, lifted in anger, seeking to slay and utterly destroy the sons of Atlantis.
He told you freeze.
Then raised I my staff and directed a ray of vibration,
striking
them still in their tracks as fragments of stone of the mountain. Then spoke I to them in words calm and peaceful, telling them of the might of Atlantis, saying we were children of the sun and its messengers. Cowed, hide them by my display of magic science, until at my feet they grovel
Because
when I release them.
understand the
Long
science.
dwelt-
It looks like magic. If you don't understand science, like white people did. This is voodoo. This is evil. This is witchcraft. But you don't understand science. It looks like witchcraft and magic because you are a dummy. Your mind is not able to. That's what the white people were. They didn't understand science, and so they called it magic and witchcraft because you're not able to comprehend what it is. That's what Thoth is talking about. Magic science, because to a uneducated mind, science that you don't understand looks like magic or looks like witchcraft, which is not. It's just science that you can't comprehend and you don't understand it. Like I took a cell phone out into the village, they think that's witchcraft. What is that? It's just science. It's a phone. It's like witchcraft. Go ahead, Joe.
We in the land of Chem, long and yet long again, until obeying the commands of the Master, who, while sleeping, yet lives eternally. I sent from me the sons of Atlantis, sent them in many directions, that from the womb of time, wisdom might rise again in her children.
Teach him again.
Long time
teach
dwelt
knowledge.
I in the land of Chem, doing great works by the wisdom within me.
See, you notice his ego. You notice that he never mentions his dad, Inky. He never mentions this whole tablet. He don't even mention his dad. Dad was the first student of Kemet, not him. He said he's the king of Kemet. His dad, Ptah, who's Inky, is the first king. He don't even mention him. He don't mention his brother. He don't mention nobody but him. So there's an ego shit going on with this cat. His ego's out of control. I did this, I did this, I. All right, nigga, I. Go ahead, Joby.
Of knowledge, the children of Chem, watered by the rains of my wisdom.
Of my wisdom.
Blasted I then a path to Amenti, so
They
that
put a
I
pyramid.
might retain my powers, living
Put a
from
pyramid.
age to age, a son of Atlantis, keeping the wisdom, preserving the records. Great grew the sons of Chem, conquering the people around them, growing slowly upwards in soul force. Now for a time, I go from among them into the dark halls of Amenti, deep in the halls of the earth, before the lords of the powers.
I built the
face to
pyramid
face
over it.
once
You tell
again
about the pyramid.
with the dweller. Raised I high over the entrance, a doorway, a gateway
pyramid.
leading down to Amenti. Few there would be with courage to dare
Courage to go down
Few
there.
past the portal to dark Amenti. Raised over the passage, I, a mighty pyramid, using
pyramid,
the power
pause
that
it.
overcomes
Yeah.
earth force.
Of science. So he's telling you, I built these pyramids down, so now we finding the halls he's talking about. We finding the halls where he said he's descended down to go be with this wicked motherfucker. Okay? We find the halls that Joby just showed. We starting to find those halls. He said you're gonna find them. Eventually gonna find this shit, which I built under the pyramids. That's what he's telling you. I built that shit. All the way down those structures, I built them to go dwell with this wicked motherfucker. Go ahead, Joby.
Gravity. Deep and yet deeper placed I a force house or chamber. From it carved I a circular passage reaching almost to the great summit. There in the apex set I the crystal, sending the ray into the time-space, drawing the force from out of the ether, concentrating upon the gateway to Amenti.
So he's letting you know about the ether. So he's telling these things are electrical. Because ether means everything sits in the ether, energy. So he's letting you know that the pyramids are energy. But they find out I put it through the ether. Ether is energy. Okay, which they took out. They don't teach you ether no more in school. It's made up supposedly now. They don't even teach it. You go back 100 years ago, it used to be on your periodic table. And then finally these white people erased the ether from your periodic science table. Why did they do that? They don't want you to know ether even exists no more. They want you paying for their fake electricity when electricity is free. It's in the ether. You build a system like a pyramid, anything, and you have free energy forever. It's in the ether. As Thoth is telling you. Go ahead, Joby.
See the Great Pyramid by Doriel. Other chambers I built and left vacant to all seeming, yet hidden within them are the keys to Amenti. He who in courage would dare the dark realms, let him be purified first by long fasting.
Fasting.
Lie
Because
in the sarcophagus of stone.
See that stone, there's no stones, they tell you to fast, because you don't fast, you stink. Okay, your food, he's telling you, that means you stink. You need to fast and purify yourself so you don't smell all funky with meat and ugali and cheeseburgers and all other kind of shit and tacos and everything. You must fast, he's telling you, because you're going to be offensive spiritually because we're going to smell the stench off of you. So you must fast, long fast is probably a week. Get all that stink out of you. And get all that meat and blood. See, but Africans didn't have that kind of diet. We ate vegetables and fruits mostly back in the day. So we didn't have to fast. You get that blood and meat and all that other shit. Get that out of you before you bring your ass down here because you stink. Go ahead, Joe.
And donuts.
And donuts. And donuts.
Then to reveal I to him the great mysteries. Soon shall he follow to where I shall meet him. Even in the darkness of earth shall I meet him. I, Thoth, Lord of wisdom, meet him and hold him and dwell with him always. Built I the great pyramid, patterned after the pyramid of earth force, burning eternally so that it too might retain through the ages. In it I built my knowledge of magic science so that it might be here when again
when he get
I
back.
return from a
He built it with magic science and these things are not right. You find nothing that's lasts as long as these pyramids. Exactly. There's no building, no structure on the planet that lasts as long as these things. Thousands. He told you he built them 35,000 years ago. 35,000. Not no 5,000. The white man tell you he's built 5,000 years. That's a lie. Those just telling you I built these things 35,000 years ago. And I built them a certain way. So no matter what they did, because the dumbass Arabs came in and stole the limestone to build Cairo. Because it wasn't them, had to do with their culture. When they conquered Africa, conquered that northern part of Africa, they stole the limestone off the fucking shit. They didn't know what it was. These electric grids, they don't know what it was. They just stole it so they can build their fucked up city, Cairo. Ripped the pyramids right up because it had nothing to do with them. They didn't build it. Then they want to claim like it's them. You get these crazy white Arabs about, no, you Africans don't try to claim each motherfucker, because it's ours, not you. That's why when you got there, you took the damn casings off. Why would you take some casings off some shit you supposedly built and was sacred? Why are you selling the bodies to Europeans while they run around eating the bodies? They were eating mummies. That wasn't your people. You don't dig up your own people and desecrate their graves if it's you. It's not you. It's nothing to do. It's not your culture. People try to claim shit that ain't yours is absolutely insane. You're wicked. You hate your women. Why you wrap your women up all up in that mummy shit, all that crazy ass Arab shit you wrap them up in. That wasn't the Africans. Most of the Africans have what you would call not discreet behavior, because the women were dressed loosely, loose wearing clothes, high dresses. Sometimes the breasts would be out. That's African culture. That's why the Egyptians sometimes didn't come up their breasts. That's not your shit. You guys can't look at women without raping them. You want to rape them. Africans were spiritual. We didn't rape women. We can look at breasts. That's why you see the same thing down in South Africa today. That's the African style right there. That's why the Egyptians dressed. They had their breasts out a lot of the time. But nobody raping them. We have respect for women. You don't. Why they got to wrap up and all that shit. It's sinful for you to show your leg out in public. Don't show your ankle. It makes me want to rape you if you show your ankle. That's your culture. Crazy shit. Your ankle makes me want to rape you. Look at your ankle. You'll beat a woman if they show their ankle. You show your ankle. Ankle. Your ankle's turning you on? What you say, Joey?
Even their face.
Yeah, the face all covered up. But use the ankle. You showed your ankle. I'm going to have to beat you. You made my penis hard with your ankle. What? You fucked up in the head.
While I sleep in the halls of Amenti, my soul roaming free will incarnate. dwell among men in this form or another.
Another. So he's going.
Hermes, thrice born.
Mm-hmm.
Emissary on earth am I of the dweller, fulfilling his commands.
He ain't pause that. Told you he ain't the emissary of his daddy, Inky. He's the emissary. Told you of the dweller doing his mission. I told you. He don't give a shit what Inky talking about. He told you right there. I am an emissary of Ogo, of the demiurge, of Yaldabaoth. That's what he's telling you. He ain't mentioned his daddy. I'm an emissary of my dad. No. Fuck him. Fuck Inky. Fuck that nigga. I'm an emissary of Ogo, the dweller. Go ahead, Joby.
Might be lifted. Now return I to the halls of Amenti, leaving behind me some of my wisdom. Preserve ye and keep ye the command of the dweller. Lift ever upwards your eyes to the light. Surely, in time, ye are one with the Master. Surely, by right, ye are one with the Master.
One with the all.
Surely, by right, ye are one with the all.
So you think something with the real guy, because they know we are one with the all. We are one because we come black. We come directly from the all. We are one with the all. That is a fact. So there's no hell, no separation, unless you believe all they goofy fake religions they made. Those religions are new. Those religions ain't even ancient. None of these religions on the planet are not even BC. It's all new. This Islam junk, this Christianity junk. It's all made up new nonsense. Because they were just learning. That's what it was. Go ahead, Joe. What's up?
Okay.
That's it.
Know my commandments, keep them and be them, and I will be with you, helping and guiding you into the light. Now before me opens the portal, go I down into the darkness of night.
Portal.
Emerald Tablet 2, the halls of Amenti. Deep in the earth's heart lie the halls of Amenti, far beneath the islands of sunken Atlantis, halls of the dead and halls of the living, bathed in the fire of the infinite all. Far in a past time, lost in the space-time, the children of light look down on the world, see the children of men in their bondage, bound by the force that came from beyond. Knew they that only by freedom from bondage could man ever rise from the earth to the sun. Down they descended and created bodies, taking the semblance of men as their own. The masters of everything said after their forming, we are they who were formed from the space dust, partaking of life from the infinite all, living in the world as children of men, like and yet unlike the children of men. Then for a dwelling place, far beneath the earth crust, blasted great spaces they, by their power, spaces apart from the children of men.
He created from space dust, created straight from God.
In power, shielded from harm, they the halls
not
of the
for,
dead.
Not for no damn monkey.
Side by side then, placed they other spaces, filled them with life and with light from above. Builded they then the halls of Amenti, that they might dwell eternally there, living with life to eternity's end. 32 were there of the children, sons of light who had come among men, seeking to free from the bondage of darkness those who were bound by the force from beyond. Deep in the halls of life grew a flower, flaming, expanding, driving backward the night. Placed in the center, a ray of great potence, life-giving, light-giving, filling with power all who came near it. Placed they around it thrones, 32, places for each of the children of light, placed so that they were bathed in the radiance, filled with the life from the eternal light. There, time after time, placed they their first created bodies, so that they might be filled with the spirit of life. 100 years out of each 1,000 must the life-giving light flame forth on their bodies, quickening, awakening the spirit of life. There in the circle from aeon to aeon sit the great masters, living a life not known among men.
Not known by men.
There
Because
in the halls of life,
Because
they
Paul said,
lie.
he tell you they lie there, but their souls are in bodies. Their light is running around with our ass sitting next to you on the bus, sitting next to your ass driving the car, walking down the street. You don't know who the fuck a motherfucker is. That's what he's telling you. Because your light, you don't know what's inside, what's housed in this illusional body. Because we don't vibrate high enough to know, but they know. So they walking amongst it. These are the motherfuckers running all these wicked ass governments. And I tell you, all governments are controlled, all of them. There's no independent government on this planet. All controlled by this demiurge, this Ogu, all of it. It's all kabuki fake theater. What you see is a spiritual warfare. All controlled by this goddamn thing. Took me a while to understand is they all, from Russia to all these motherfuckers. The main countries are all controlled. We say it's the Jays, but the Jays worship this thing. You know, the Jays worship this thing and talk to this thing interdimensionally. We know that's a fact. That's why they have what? The stealing of the children in Africa and everywhere else in Haiti, Africa, and then bloodlet them. The stealing of babies so they can bust their heads open blood and sacrifice them to this damn thing. Same thing we're doing with the pyramids. That's why we got these missing children. Why you got planes of babies in Chad, all these babies in the plane and nobody knows, hey, what are these babies doing up in here? They're about to be sacrificed. That's why you got the Jays running around, control all countries. They're all funny money. And what you see them always what? That's why you see them down in the tunnels in New York with all that baby blood and shit on the mattress, making tunnels all deep around New York. And did any of them ever get prosecuted? You better believe not a damn one of them did. Bloody ass mattresses and shit all down there. They been running around sacrificing children down there. And where you go with these people, it's the sacrifice thing. Who do you think they sacrificed them to? That Ogo, because they the ones, those of them created. And when they start creating these other people, I'm just leave it like that, because we're on YouTube. Start creating these other people to house demonic energy in it. Because they must feed, that's why they feed our black people, we are the creators of everything. They mimic us. I see every dance we do, they can't do, they learn, they be trying to do it, their rhythms all fucked up. Because it's a soulless being up in that damn thing. Can't get the rhythm right. This really goes deep. But that's enough, Joe. I think we're at 2 damn hours already.
Mm-hmm. We are. Let me go through the comments of people as we get to wind up. Then maybe we're gonna finish up with this one another day as we get back to that conversation. Where do I start? Okay, so many comments. Where do I start? So just a minute. Okay. Mm-hmm. I see earlier from where Emil commented, that's why I left the comments. I see we have Emil was saying that the flood narrative came from the epic of
Gilgamesh,
which originates from Mesopotamia and ancient black civilization. Jibba says, yep, they'll say it's unstable, and then in 10 years, after everything is white-faced, it will be able to be seen. And then also Emil says, those French soldiers of the Napoleon also blew off the noses of the black pharaohs and then whitewashed them.
Yeah,
and then
they blew their nose off, Joby. Because they had your nose, they had that nigga nose, Joby, your nose.
Exactly. Jiba says, what astounds me are those huge granite boxes with the lids meticulously placed 60 feet into pyramid and seraphim complex. The seraphim complex, sorry. And then we have Joe Mosquito, Karibu Sana. Hope you're doing great this evening. He says, imagine how many of these cases go unnoticed. We also have Emil who says the original African indigenous people of the Philippines are still there today. They are unfortunately a minority. And then Joe Mosquito asks if we've noticed a lot of cancer signs tend to marry nurses. I've not noticed that personally. I just know the cancer rate has increased.
No, Joe. He's talking about he's talking about cancer side. Me, I'm a cancer, Joe. He's trying. It's look at. He's trying to say cancer's. I don't know where he got that from. I don't know. That may be true. I don't know. Yeah, the cancer side. Joe Mosquito's good with all that kind of shit. He might be right. I don't know. It might be true. So I don't know. Okay, Joe. So why didn't it work out then? Shit. Since they marry him, do they stay together with him?
You should tell us. Jason says that's our ancient science we did from the past lives. Joe Mosquito says she's supposed to remain remanded to be given bail. I think you're talking about the nurses, if I'm not wrong, what we're talking about, Joe Mosquito. Emil also says in the white man's world, education ain't free either. Knowledge isn't free in the crackers world. He also
exactly
adds,
never.
Their religion also make us worship and pray to a jealous God. That is true.
Exactly, because that's the dweller. That's not a God. A real God would never be jealous. Jealous of what? I created everything. What am I? Who am I going to be jealous of? There's nothing to be jealous of. That's how you know that ain't the true creator. Creator wouldn't be jealous of nothing. What's it to be jealous of? And how could you be perfect if you're jealous? How could you be perfect if you're jealous of anything? You're not.
Joe Mosquito Big Chi says yes. I just couldn't get it out of my mind how they called you guys racist on BitChute for talking about their racism. These people are not human. I'm convinced. Man, there are many. They got worse. I went through the comments in the morning when I got here. I was like, God damn.
It was some more comments. I never read them. It was some more comments, Joey.
Yeah, I told you gonna find more comments. Also see Gerald Mosquito says if you want to understand the pyramids, just study the human body. He also adds that the white people were too stupid to figure out the technology they stole. They had to employ black people to help them recreate stuff. Also, Emil says college tuition and tuition assistance too. Some people who can't afford college have to join the military to take advantage of that.
Exactly, because we got of the GI Bill and all that stuff. Yeah, that's on purpose. They make college unaffordable. They want to do it because they do not want smart people. That challenges the system. Every time they build a system, it's always unfair and unequal. That's what they want. Keeps their power.
And Emil also says the so-called pagan holidays also came from ancient African civilization. Yeah, I remember the pagan holiday. Yeah, and like Christmas and Easter, people in ancient Kemet were already decorating trees and eggs in South Africa, which represented fertility. I have bits of that knowledge. Yeah, John Mosquito says they karate chopped off all the noses and
exactly.
And sometimes the lips too.
Yeah, the lips too. The lips all the time because the lips had the full Joby lips, the beautiful, luscious African lips that I love so much, right? The beautiful, luscious lips. You know, they got them other kind of lips we're not going to say because Africans don't have no monkey lips. No, what monkeys have full, juicy lips? Nobody. We do. You got them. What ape has a full? What ape have you ever seen with a full, juicy set of lips? They always thin and shit.
I also see John Mosquito says 100% correct. The Jesus on the cross with the two thieves is nothing but a replica of the three pyramids in Egypt.
Exactly what it is.
Emil says the Kama Sutra temples in India are also very high tech and sophisticated.
Of course,
Indians who live there today couldn't have built those structures.
Exactly. Exactly. Those structures, like we said, even when Joby looked up Angkor Wat. They couldn't have built that. So I'm gonna look at. I'm supposed to look for that video again. I gotta find that video. They couldn't have found that.
Mm-hmm.
And when you're looking, all that shit's got a bunch of. Why are Indians got a bunch of African shit up in there? Ain't this Indian? I mean, Asians. Why these Asians got all these African stuff in Cambodia? And they want to tell you this is only 400, 500 years old. Are you crazy? That shit is 20, 30, 40,000 years old easily. They want to tell you that temple floating in the goddamn jungle was made 400 years ago. Are you crazy? We don't got no technology to build that shit today. You want to tell me a bunch of goddamn rice eating motherfuckers who had no technology made that? You out of your mind.
Mm-hmm. And then we have Jiba Jabba who's asking, what does the spotted leopard represent? What does the spotted leopard represent? That is a question.
I don't know. I don't know. I know they used it all the gowns, all the priests used to use it. I don't know, Jim. Ask Joe Mosquito be knowing all that. Ask his ass.
Emil says that did Anubis really have a head of a jackal? And are all these other ancient Kemet gods, goddess, half human, half animal?
Yeah. Remember, because they were dibbling in gene splicing. So we know gene splicing. We don't want to say who else created from gene splicing. Hint, hint. So we know that there was something called So we know that was called Sinos. I can't pronounce Sinosiabla.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how to pronounce it, Joe, because you pull up. Because remember, Marco Polo said he seen them when he was going to China, going to Asia. Sinosiabla. What the hell is it? I can't pronounce it right. Because if I had Joby, if I knew how to pronounce it, I could have Joby pull up the picture. I can't say the name right, so it won't come up right. Sinosiabla. Okay, just pull up this, Joby. Let me see. Say did Marco? Ask Google to say did Marco Polo say he's seen dog-headed people in Asia, and maybe they might give us the name of that thing they call Sino something. I don't know. I don't know how to pronounce that. Say did Marco Polo, Marco Polo Polo, say that he's seen dog-headed people in Asia?
Mm-hmm. Yes, in his writings, Marco Polo described dog-headed. Yeah. Yeah. On I can't even onocephali or onecephaly. That is how it's pronounced.
Yeah, you got it. I know Sinocephaly or something. Yeah, see, Joey got it right.
Yeah, Sinocephaly. Yeah, Sinocephaly inhabiting an island he called Anangaman. 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 I don't know if I'm pronouncing that correctly either. Which is believed to be an Andaman Islands in the Bay of Bengal. The terms are really tough. Pardon me, man.
I know. Yeah. I couldn't pronounce it either. They tried your picture. I didn't know it. I couldn't pronounce it either.
Yeah, Sinocephaly. Let me see. Let me share the image.
It's Sinocephaly. I thought it was Sino something.
Share the image. Which one can I share? Look like this. creepy. Very creepy. But Emil, we also have
Yeah.
Jeebus.
Yeah, that's the cartoon, but they got real pictures of this thing, Joe. That's a cartoon. They got the creepy. They got the real shit of these damn things that they seen that they took in pictures of for real, for real. Seen these things that are still there today. There's pictures that have been shown of this fucking thing.
Damn. What?
Joe said, "What?" Yes. Joe be getting real. Joe be getting shocked again. Uh-oh. Yeah, so that was them gene splicing. That was the Africans making up things, Joe, making up human men, all kind of shit. It's called alchemy. Putting.
Damn, look at this one.
Yeah.
Let me continue the comments and get out of here. I see Barris Sana, Emil also said all of the animals that live in Kenya today used to live in Kemet when it was green, like the giraffes, lions, elephants,
Exactly.
zebras. There are carved depictions of them on rocks in the Sahara. And Big Cheese says Black Americans smell like Popeyes. You all really need to fast. You need to tell Keith.
I know. I stink like chicken. I know I have to fast. Big Cheese. I know I'm funky with the Popeyes. He would come in and throw my ass about it. Get your stinking ass out of here. Like, I got the Popeyes. I told you to fast before you bring your Popeye smelling ass down here. And he told Joby ass out because Joby smell like Kentucky Fried Chicken. She know better.
For me, it's KFC. KFC. I smell like KFC and some good scent. Big Cheese says Nigerian women have the sexiest ankles. Goddamn.
Joby got the what? What happened? What happened?
No, it's a Big Cheese says Nigerians have the sexiest ankles.
Sexiest ankles. Okay, I never looked at their ankles. You getting deep into it, ain't you, Big Cheese?
Jason also says same science under the pyramids is under that floating temple too. He also says I'm glad to be black. So much about us is coming back. Me totally.
I know. Isn't it funny? Exactly. I hate it. Ain't it funny? When I started learning, I said, "God, I'm so happy I'm black." I used to. I'm like, "God damn! Oh shit!" So, oh my God, this is crazy. Exactly.
Our history is so beautiful, man. Shout out to the Royal Constrictor. I also see Emil says that that's also what the Europeans call werewolves.
Exactly. That's where the werewolf shit came from.
I was watching anything. I was watching an animation of werewolves yesterday. Crazy. Jason says,
"Wow."
Yeah. Jason says it's some kind of island with dog-headed people around North Sentinel Island.
Yeah, that's where he was at. It's exactly that's where it's at around. That's exactly right. Who said it? Jason. Yeah, exactly right. Jason over in Asia. He said he's on that island and a bunch of dog-headed motherfuckers was on there. And we know Marco Polo wasn't crazy. He lived. He told you what he seen. He says a bunch of dog-head motherfuckers on there. Men with dog heads.
Jabba Jabba says, "Take care. I've arrived at my piano lessons. Gotta go." Thank you.
Jabba Jabba, I'm gonna burn down your whole house. I don't got no damn piano.
Man, do you have a piano?
Me, Joby, or Big Cheese. What's wrong with you?
Yeah, but that's where we coming to the end of today's conversation. Thank you so much to everyone who's tuned in on today's Africa Today show. I hope you guys literally it's an amazing conversation. History. I love when I learn most of these things, but at the end of the day, I'll never lack a shock because what do you mean half human, half dogs?
Because you can make it.
It's super insane. But anyway, family, much love. See you guys tomorrow, same time, same place on the network though. Shall be playing some music, so you can tune in, request your major TBTs, throwbacks during your grandpa's time, during your mom's time, or your parents, or your time. growing up. Depends what you'd like to listen. So tune in tomorrow. Ensure you download the app. That's the only way you can be able to tune in on the network and on the radio, or rather find us on TikTok. Blackout Fire Network Radio is the name on TikTok. So see you guys there tomorrow on The Culture Show. But thank you so much for being with us on today's conversation. Closing remarks, Keith?
Oh, that was a great show. Much love. Always like learning new stuff. And we are really wonderful. That's why all this nonsense. We are really some bad motherfuckers, man. That shit is crazy.
We say no cussing.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Well.
Yeah, but we're really wonderful humans, man. Our history is amazing, beautiful history. Like, it's just beautiful. Every time you learn about it, as much as there's been so much pain and all that, still it's beautiful history, literally beautiful. Beautiful. Before all these people came and distracted us. But much love, family. See you guys tomorrow. Peace. Have yourselves a beautiful day once again.
Much love, family. Peace, guys.